of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. We now move to the clauses. The question is that clauses 1 to 3 stand part. Ian Lees-Galloway.
Mr Chair, I just wanted to take a brief call on the commencement clause in particular, and that is because there was a change made at the Select Committee. And it might, if you simply read the commencement clause as it is written, you might think that the Select Committee sought to delay the introduction of this legislation by changing the date on which it comes into force to being at the end of a period of 12 months as opposed to the original 6 months. However, not that I want to venture too far into Part 1, but there are transitional matters in Part 1, and in fact the overall effect of the change to the commencement clause is that all retailers will fall under the Act over a slightly shorter period of time as a result of the change. So the committee heard from a number of submitters that perhaps the 6-month period for the initial introduction or the initial commencement of the Act was too short a period of time for retailers to be able to comply. I suppose there probably wasn't an awful lot of sympathy for the position, but we did hear some arguments around the changes that retailers would have to make to their display stands, to their stores, and what that would entail. And we wanted to work alongside retailers to get them on board and to try and make this transition as easy for them as possible. But then there was also there is the transition period, and that has been reduced from being a 2-year transition period to being a 12-month transition period. So within 2 years, all up, of this bill receiving royal assent, every tobacco retailer in the country will have their tobacco products out of sight. And I have to say, Mr Chair, I am really looking forward to that day. I'm looking forward to the day when we can all walk into a dairy or a service station or a supermarket and not notice that that tobacco is even there and available for sale. I would like to congratulate Tariana Turia on getting us to this point where we are just at the most 2 years away from that being the way things are in New Zealand. And of course one day in a few short years after that, people will look back on the thought of advertising tobacco in any form whatsoever and think it was absolutely ludicrous. It has been a journey, and this in itself is of course another step on the journey towards being a smoke-free New Zealand, and I'd like to congratulate Tariana Turia on getting the government and getting the National Party to support it, and this will be my last call on the committee stage of this bill, and I just want to say how pleased I am to be able to support this piece of legislation.
Dr Paul Hutchison.
Yeah, just want to make a few comments on